Welcome to the third episode of the Stack Fleet podcast. Today, we'll be talking with Dalton Nichols about his recent tournament performances, what's upcoming for Worlds, and more. We hope you enjoy. How do you think the 2025 season has been going for you so far? Because you've competed a lot, so just what are your thoughts on it?
Well, as of right now, I really cannot complain. I've had quite a string of results lately, from Connecticut to Atlanta. I've had such great times because I have recognized more and more as time goes on that America is just such a competitive realm of stacking that you really don't know who shows up to what, and it could be unbelievably competitive at 25 person tournaments. Having a 9.25 overall, placing fourth, is not something I was expecting on this year's bingo card. Um, but at the same time, that just means that the standards have risen tremendously over the years if you want to place in the top three. And for me, I've just really been trying to highlight um, some different indiscrepancies within my stacking this season. That was kind of a goal of mine personally, especially in individual events. And I think I've done a pretty good job so far, trying to get my best down as low as they can before Worlds, and seeing how that's going. But it's been working out pretty well. I really cannot complain. It's been very fun these past four tournaments. Like, these back to back tournaments have been crazy because Connecticut and SoCal were also back to back, and I just did Meyer and Atlanta back to back. So it's been very tiring, but it's been so fun, and the results have been very great as well. So can't complain.
Yep.
Yeah, the times have been crazy. Like that 191 was insane.
Yeah. That was an all around best for me. I got 193 with two pad back in like October 2000, like 2020. So I was right at the height of COVID, and to beat that in a finals round was also very unexpected. But I've been trying to instill more confidence in myself when stacking, because I know that I can get some times that are, I can get some pretty good times if I really locked in and try and do that. And 191 in a finals round is nuts. I can't really could not believe that
Yeah.
I managed to do it. But I just kind of told myself, like, I had a very rare sort of tournament scenario where my division, which was only four of us, it was 23 to 25 male, were in group two for finals, and everyone fast got to compete before me, and I had to wait it out. And that was when I first found that out, I was like everyone gets to go. And for me, if I think about times too much in my head, I get too nervous, and it really messes me up. So I kind of just, like, I was able to see everybody go, but I didn't think about the times, and I kind of just said, if I got 203 on my first attempt, so I said, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right. And 191 just came out. I said, okay, this works. I'm gonna keep going with that for now. So that's kind of the attitude I want to keep seeing for tournaments coming up. So shall see.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did you think about relay with the timer start? Obviously.
Uh, yeah. Heartbreaking, very obviously heartbreaking, because obviously the 11 in tournament is something I've been going for personally for almost 10 years. But yeah, very unfortunate. It's just something that just happened. Very unfortunate set of circumstances. I was able to talk with Matthew Hill a bit about, what happened, and he clarified a lot of things for me, some rule clarifications, and that was very nice of him to do so. But just really unfortunate. We had six attempts, but do not count us out yet. We're very capable of beating the 1223, and the 1218 for that matter. But yeah, unfortunate, but we have to move on and keep going. So for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
So also, I guess kind of like with the 11-second barrier, what were
hmm
you guys thinking with the 1183 when it got scratched? Like, did you guys think that was going to happen beforehand, or was that kind of like shocking?
For me personally, I sort of had a suspicion that something was off, like, from the start, because the tournament was kind of, also very small. It had barely 20 people. Um,
Yeah.
and also like me fumbling it, I was like, okay, this is like in the background in my head, so many thoughts are going on at once as the attempt was going. I said, this is really good. Oh, that's going to be really good. That's really good. And then it was 1183. And when it was all kind of like hitting me after the time was over, I said, this is something about this felt off. And, we had access to footage, like to Peter's footage of the run before, and we looked and we knew it was a footfall right away. So we kind of knew before the announcement. But yeah. Um, Things fell off, but for relay, I don't know why this is the case with relay, but it has to be such a perfect set of circumstances for us. Um, like with these past three relay world records we've gotten, they've been at the same tournament with the same group of five or six, and I feel like certain sets of circumstances have to happen to break world records. As silly as that sounds, it has to be done in the oh so perfect environment, but. I wish that weren't true, but I seem to be getting proven wrong each time. I've been scratched for a relay many times over the years, and sometimes like those venues and those teams are sometimes different than others. And for some reason, like for the 1183, like having Josh Hainsel on that team was a rarity in itself. And I hate that got scratched just for him because having Pro Series E back after a roughly 5-year reunion was kind of nuts. So to get that,
Yeah.
it has to be a weird set of circumstances to make it work. But you know, um, I just keep telling myself more and more as painful as it usually is. It's never your last chance, and you know, you just have to keep moving forward with it. I'm used to this by now.
Yeah. Dude, I remember seeing that like you guys for Pro Series E were coming back, and I was just like, that's insane.
No, I was so thrilled because Josh let us know a few weeks before that he was going to be able to come. I said we have to do it. We have to have all five of us were going to this tiny little North Carolina tournament. And I said we have to do this group. We have to do it. And I'm glad we
Yeah.
did. It's a lot of fun regardless, but still it's not always pretty.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you plan on going to any more tournaments before Worlds?
No, so that's kind of why I was really motivated to do the back-to-back again this year because March is a very busy week for me in terms of school, in terms of work as well. It's a very busy weekend to manage both of those, and February was kind of lighter, so that's why I was able to pull off both Atlanta and Meyer. But yeah, so no tournaments as of right now. No tournaments before Worlds. None of them are really close either. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think I did everything I wanted to try and get before Switzerland. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Do you think all of those tournaments give you a lot of confidence going into that? Like just that constant momentum that you've built. Do you think that like improves your mentality going into Worlds?
I'd like to say it's definitely yes and no because I tried to stack as many tournaments as I could onto my schedule for last year's Worlds. I took a very last minute trip to St. Louis in March. I did Atlanta and Meyer last year as well. Um, I think it really depends. Momentum is one thing to have, of course. Like, I've been on a great streak lately, but none of that matters until you're actually there, in my opinion. You really have to adjust. Like for us, being coming from the States and going all the way to Switzerland, like, is a huge thing that sort of I need to mentally process first before I can like kind of capitalize on the momentum that I've had in tournaments back in the States because even in Orlando, that's like a 2-hour drive away from me. And I would say, I was trying to compete more to have a momentum for it. But I think that momentum is something that you can build on, but um, I really have to put myself in a different set of circumstances to try and replicate those results in a world's final because Worlds like last year reminded me so much of just how different Worlds nerves are compared to like a tournament like for me in Georgia or for you guys like a local Illinois tournament or something like that. The nerves are very very different and they're complicated to deal with. Especially I've competed at a European World before, And Spain had a very different set of circumstances. Like the practice area was an outdoor tent, and that was something I had never ever had to deal with before. Being in Florida, stacking outdoors is terrible. So I was not used to like dealing with things like that. So um, I'd like to think I do have a good level of momentum coming into Worlds, but I have to be, Worlds is still 2 months away roughly. So I just have to try and replicate as much as I can. But it's all a mental game for me, trying to adjust to everything Switzerland is going to offer for Worlds. So, but I think that with some new strategies coming into this season, Worlds individually, I didn't do terribly, but I think I could have done a lot better. And especially now, as I'm ending my time in collegiate, wanting to come into Worlds with some new strategies, they seem to be working so far. So I'd like to try and um, replicate those strategies as much as I can. Yeah,
Totally.
Exciting. Yeah.
definitely yes and no. Yeah.
Yeah, so how like pumped are you for Worlds this year, obviously, since last year was kind of home for you. Is this like
Yeah.
just double that?
Oh yeah. I mean, Switzerland is a bucket list country for me, as I am so excited that I was able to pull it off because end of April for me is exam season. I'm cramming in 2 exams right when I get back from Switzerland, so that should be something. But very excited to go to Europe again. Very excited to see a lot of people like Sun Gwen I haven't seen since I went to Worlds in Montreal, and I will be seeing him in Switzerland.
Wow.
So that'll be really really cool to to see a lot of faces that I haven't seen in a long time, and to see some crazy sights. And we have a good squad coming from the States, and to be with them, and all these countries are bringing their best people, and these people who I've been wanting to talk to more as time goes on. So I am very very pumped for Switzerland. Yes, it should be fun.
Awesome.
So for Switzerland, what would you say is your like preparation for it individually? Because obviously you're not competing anymore, so the team preparation is more finished up. So what would you say you're doing as an individual now, practice wise, for the next 2 months?
So first, for the first few weeks, I'm going to take a little break. I've been stacking a lot lately, and I need to put school a little more at the forefront for these next few weeks. So I'm going to take a well deserved break for the first few weeks, I think. But I'd like to get back more into training about a month out from Switzerland. I really want. Or sorry, I really try and do a lot of competition simulations. Trying to one of the strategies that I've been doing lately in tournament has been timing my warm ups, because I've been so the past few years I've been slightly annoyed at the fact that I could do a lot better than I can in tournament, and trying to make the most of the tournament opportunities that I have, because it takes a lot to get to a tournament nowadays. So for me, I try and do a lot of competition simulations to try and replicate what I want to get on my first attempt, and then try and practice consistency trainings for what I want to see in a finals round. So for me, that could be trying to grind out as many 1.5s in a row as I can, or ones in the 363, or for me, like I've been trying really hard to work on cycle consistency, because cycle has been my biggest enemy in tournaments in the last year or so. So trying to get my rhythm down for what I want to do, because for me, if I'm very nervous and shaky, obviously my rhythm has to change, because you're adapting to cold hands, cold sweaty hands, and cold venue perhaps, or whatnot. So for me, I'm trying to focus on trying to get my rhythm down to what I want it to be in tournament, and trying to make sure that my stacking is as least like the transitions are as peak as can be, because transitions in my opinion are so important when you've reached an elite level of stacking. Like you really have to work on just the micro movements of stacking. Like I know you guys were talking to Ian, and he mentioned like the micro movements. Like
Yeah.
that stuff is so important when stacking at such a top level, especially like for me in my case, like I was trying to, like for relay, trying to improve my running up to the table, because I just look at myself and try and be a little bit self-critical, and just be like, I could work on that. I can be better. I can be this, that, and the other. So working on those micro movements, micro transitions, as it were, like little things like that, really seem to have helped me so far, and it really built my confidence because I can say I can replicate that at the table. You just have to be in the right headspace to do so. So trying to work on building like my mental toughness and trying to get a good idea of what I can do at a tournament because it's just to up my potential.
Yeah, I can
For
relate with that
sure.
with cycle and stuff. I
Yeah, no,
always
I,
lose,
I,
but
I hate I hate cycle lately. It really is. It's such a nerve-wracking event, but for me, just like yeah, trying to nail down the rhythm, especially in cycle, because that's just so much movement in 5.5 seconds, if that's what you're aiming for, or 6 seconds, 7 seconds, whatever it is. You're trying to do all these movements, these sharp movements in such an accurate and quick manner. It's very hard, very hard.
yeah, 333 is just better.
It is. I agree completely. That's I love 333. So it's such a nice. I don't have to think. You can't think in a 333 final. You just have to go. It works
Yeah,
or it works or it doesn't. Like there's no in between.
yeah.
Speaking more on the individual events, do you have any particular goals for Worlds?
Uh, just I would love to do better than I did in Orlando, but I don't like to give myself time goals as much as it can be. I did the best I could under the circumstances that I was given. Because I've been to enough of these to know that like if I don't, I really like you only get 3 attempts. So if you don't get the 1.4 or whatever you're looking for, whatever time you're looking for, like kind of just have to realize that sometimes it just doesn't work because you only get 3 attempts. So but just doing the best that I can because the competition is going to be absolutely insane. So I am going to do the best that I can, and just hope for the best. But more importantly, just to enjoy my time in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is a really good mindset.
yeah,
And then um also, do you have any like hopes for doubles at Worlds this year?
yeah. I think I'll be doing doubles with William Polly this year. Um,
Exciting.
him and I, yeah, him and I doubles is so fun and so easy with him, and he's such a great friend. So it's always an honor, and I'm so lucky to have a great. He's so good at doubles with anyone that he does it with. But for me, I really we've been really trying to work on. We really haven't had the best luck in terms of official results. Worlds last year we didn't do well at all. Juniors was very nice this year. We won, and we were kind of using some different strategies that we were working on in terms of just not holding back, and once again trying to develop a rhythm that works for us. That just trying to replicate that rhythm under nerves. So with that being said, I think the main goal for us is just to get a really solid to get a solid time because Switzerland will be the first time we've done doubles this season, and I'm fairly confident that we can definitely put up some good competition. But like I said, I would say from my end that the goal is just to get a solid run and to be able to put up some good competition for sure. But yeah, I'm very excited. He's so great to do doubles with. So
Awesome. Are you guys
Yeah.
gonna go for fastest on the web there?
oh, see, yeah. I'd love to try again. We are more than capable of doing that. But I, yeah, I don't see why not. Um, we'll have
Yeah.
some time in Switzerland, so I don't see why not. I'd love to try it and get at least a 5.3. I mean, 527 is pretty outrageous. Those two are so cracked. But I think
Yeah.
that it's definitely possible. I don't see why not. So
Doubles
yeah.
has
Yeah.
just gotten on another level in the last couple
No,
years.
it is very crazy to me because not to pat my own back, but I had the fastest on the web for a long time, and
Hmm.
I watched the first 5.3 happen from a pair that only practiced for about 15 minutes. I was just like that's when I knew just the entrance of Will Allen is crazy because I've done doubles with Will before and he's great. But William, like putting those two together was
Hmm.
is a dangerous combination. So, but now that it's 527, you know, I'm so glad there's a lot of competition in doubles now. I love doubles is a crazy event, and it's only going to get better. I know 527 will
Hmm.
get beat for sure as time goes on. So, um, but yeah, I'd love to be able to be up there. 5.2 in doubles would be insane to get. So
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
remember what was it 2022 or 2023 when we were like me and Tom had Gen 5 fastest on the web because like nobody had been
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
practice. And then we watched it get beat in front of our faces. We saw
No,
Rill and Cloud just destroy
no,
it.
yeah, I know. Like William Morel has this insane ability to be
Hmm.
just this doubles chameleon. Like we were watching at Hotlanta, we were watching. I didn't get the chance to watch it when it was uploaded, but just the Jacob Choi series of
Hmm.
them doing
Yeah.
doubles, and I just said only you would be able to take this now 11-year-old kid and get like fourth or fifth fastest in the world with him. Like that's just something only something William Morel could pull
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Dude, Jacob
Like
is like
nuts.
he's crazy. How do you
Oh,
have a
he's nuts.
5.4 when you're like
Hmm.
that young?
No, it's nuts. Like I've gotten to see him. They go to so many tournaments, and I've been able to
Yeah.
watch him and his brothers become
Yeah.
so fast. They're incredible. Watching Jacob I was watching Jacob in Atlanta, and we were all like 564 was in third that I got in Atlanta finals, and I said, is there anybody, who else is gone? And so, oh, Jacob Choi's gone. You have to be like, okay, I'm not getting my hopes up then because this kid could just come up and do something crazy like Springfield.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, like you can't count him out, and he's beating me now just barely. I think I'm so happy to see that someone young in America is putting up these times. Like I'm glad it's not just collegiates and people up there all the time. So I'm glad to see that people like that are coming back for
Yeah, it's
sure.
exciting.
Yep.
Yeah,
World championship contender.
absolutely, absolutely. Like, and he's gonna have I would argue like he's miles ahead of any people in his age group 9 times out of 10, and I'm curious to
Yeah.
see how he fares in Switzerland because that should give him a fair amount of competition. I would imagine. So
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
you needed like a 5.6 to make SOC last year. So it's like it could
yeah,
happen.
it really could. He could just do it. I mean, yeah. Do not count that kid out ever.
The
He's so
future.
good.
Do you have any like predictions for what the podium is like actually going to be for Worlds? Like who, what times?
Mm, no.
It's
um,
hard to predict from now.
it really is because I have to tell you that I was not anticipating an All American podium last year. I thought
Yeah.
for sure that would be a different story. And as much as I'm so glad to see Peter and and Andrew up there, like I just that was just not the outcome I was expecting at all. And for this competition, I think that we will not see an All American podium. I think it'll be a fair mixture of I would not be surprised to see Chang King Ian up there. Obviously, I would not be surprised if Will Allen was up there. Adam Turner, I would love to see him podium. He's been putting up some crazy numbers lately. Liam Vandery, similarly. Um, yeah, for the girls, I have no clue. I'm not familiar about the competition from like Taiwan. I know the Quins are coming from the U.S. I'd love to see them up there, either one of them or both. That'd be great. Um, but yeah, a combination of those people would be pretty plausible. But it could just be anyone. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate Dale isn't going.
It is very unfortunate that Dale's not going. I think he would do absolutely amazing over there. I really do, and I'm so glad. He's been like that kid blew everybody out of the water on Saturday, and watching him compete is so much fun because I've gotten to know Andrew personally. He's a great human being, a great guy, and I'd love to see him, love to see him go be in Switzerland. But and I think he would be top three shoe in because he knows how to handle himself well, and he really uh his times in Orlando were excellent, but he had like I believe a low 5.7 in the cycle, and as we've seen, he can get a 480 with the fumble. So
Almost a second
I
faster.
yeah, just that's that's it, dude. Only a second
Imagine,
faster, but
imagine that was clean. That would have been crazy.
what was so
Like,
funny about that is I was behind. I didn't watch that in person because I just finished my cycle SOC and I was packing my stuff up and I could hear it in the background. And I had to look back at the replay to realize that it was a he had a fumble because when he upside the six, I didn't like he had done that so well. I didn't think he fumbled, and I looked back on it, I'm like, that is okay, cool. And
Yeah.
he got like a 450. He got a 454 in practice or something before he went up or something. I was told that,
yeah,
and I was just like, well, yeah, he did the same thing
unbelievable.
for June. He did the same thing for juniors. SoCal, he was
Yeah.
putting up 4.6s and 4.7s like it was nothing. So I just
Unreal.
him and Will Allen are very similar like that, where they could put up very fast times like quickly. Like for me, like if I'm getting a four, it takes me a good hour 15 to work up to a 4.9. They can get a 4.8, 7, 6 in 10, 15,
Mm,
20 minutes. Just watching them at these
yeah.
tournaments, I'm just like, this is absolutely insane. But
Yeah, we had these shirts for relay at Wisconsin, and Will was like, "I want to get a four with this on." And he was just like,
that's, yeah,
And it's
that's perfect.
so effortless.
Yeah.
"Yeah,
No, I don't get it. It takes me so much to work up to that level, and those two are crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
it'd be crazy to see an Andrew Dale world record in this cycle."
I love it, and to be honest, I think he's the only person that is capable of doing so, other than Ian, obviously. But 462 scratch, regardless of whether or not that was close, is a shocking reminder of his ability to do a cycle like that. Like he can
Yeah.
do it, but he needs more opportunities, and I really hope he gets them because he's the net he's the competition now for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So I think that's pretty much it. And then I guess going off the theme with the last two episodes, just like a
Mm.
wrap up question. Do you have any advice for just any general advice for other stackers, whether they're competing at Worlds or not, just like any competition, how how to be prepared or like deal with maybe like some pressure?
I would say never count yourself out. Um, Never ever count yourself out because I would often do that by just comparing my results to others especially when I was younger, and that would really kind of ruin my confidence. Like in my opinion, when it comes to stacking, like comparison very much is the thief of joy because there are so many different environments and conditions and different things that stacking brings to the table. So if you put in the work and you put in the time, never count yourself out. And if it doesn't work, that's okay because sometimes it just doesn't work the way that you want it to, as devastating as that is. But I would say never count yourself out and just you know exactly what to do. So just go up there and do it. As at the end of the day, and it's just going up to a table, you're stacking cups, and you leave. You're doing exactly the same rhythm, exactly the same thing that you're doing at home. You're you're putting up these crazy times. You're with these friends in some instances from all around the world. Enjoy that time and be present. Be present in those experiences and those opportunities, and be happy that you're there because these opportunities that we're given through stacking, these tournaments, these you know exposures, these they're a luxury, and you got to really not take them for granted. And if you're counting yourself out before you even walk in the door, it's just it's just not you're not going to get what you put into it. And for me, I've been learning that more and more over the years, just to be more confident in yourself and to try and do the absolute best you can be. But you just have to accept that sometimes things don't work out. But be present in the times that all of these people, all of these friends, in my case, my family, that they've given you because they're rare. And, these people are very far away, tournaments are far away, and just enjoy it. Enjoy them. Ian said, remember why you started. I fully agree with that 100%. And just be present.
Yeah, that is a
Awesome.
really good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that wraps it up. So thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you both. I've
This-
had a great
this-
time. I love what you guys have been doing. It's fantastic. So
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
And thank you for having me. Of
Yep, of
Yeah,
course. It was
thank you
great
for
having
coming
you.
on.
course.
Yeah.
It's awesome getting to talk. So
Yeah.
have a good week, and then obviously we'll keep in touch. But good luck at Worlds, because we probably
Thank you
won't
guys so
talk
much.
face to face. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the podcast, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next ones, dropping every Thursday leading up to the World Sports Stacking Championships.